Hey everyone, Henry here. In the last developer commentary, we talked about my map The Monster Hunter, where we took a little insight on the progress of development and struggles that came with it. Today, we'll do it again for my first horror map, The Maskman. Again, please note that everything I'll tell you here is just a brief summary of how things went down, and that I'm not gonna go into full detail on everything. Just wanna give you a little insight on my working progress. So, here we go. Let's jump back to December 2022. I finished Underground Science Associates 2 and wanted to create a new map. This time I already knew I wanted to make a horror map because I played some horror maps on minecraftmaps.com and realized that almost none of the horror maps on there had a normally moving enemy which hunted and jump scared you. What I mean by that is that the jump scares in the maps were either ghosts that teleported right in your face or other jump scares that involved teleportation. And don't get me wrong, that's completely fine and you can get jump scared pretty hard by that, but I wanted to create a map where the enemy really moves around just like you. So I knew I wanted a human-like character as an enemy. So I again looked on minecraftheads.com and just typed in mask because I just felt like a psychopathic murderer should wear a mask of some sorts. So I looked and found the bear mask. And I don't know what it was about that specific mask, but I think it's just perfect. So I had the character, now I needed the map. And before I started building, I looked for a creepy texture pack because even though I like to keep Minecraft as vanilla as possible, I sometimes like to add some textures or even new weapons as seen in the Monster Hunter with the musket and the bombs, or in the Underground Science Associates maps with the portal gun texture. And for a horror map, a texture pack is a must. So I searched and found the Forgotten Memories texture pack by Blue Gamers TM. I knew that this was the one. But here came the first major issue. When I turned the texture pack on, everything worked fine, but when I dragged it into the resources folder that's inside the world save, it just didn't work. I struggled for 2 days getting that to work, and I just couldn't find a solution. But then I realized something while looking through the files. Most of the names of the blocks were wrong. I think that's because this texture pack was made for Minecraft 1.7, so I think some block names have changed over the years. So I had to manually rename every single block. And fixed. Now that that problem was out of the way, I started with the script. At least that's what I normally do when building my maps, but this time I just built the whole map without any idea of what I'm even gonna do with it. Trust me, I normally don't do this. So I had the whole map built and now I had ideas that I just built in right after. So this time there was no script. That's because I already knew from the beginning that this map would be shorter than my others. I made the Maskman to push my boundaries with command blocks, so this map was just supposed to be a test for me to see if I could pull off my idea with the human enemy. And well, I think I nailed it. Not the scary part though. More on that later. Something some of you might have noticed when going into Spectator is that there's a big street outside of the map which the player never gets to be on. That was originally supposed to be a cutscene where the player gets kidnapped by the Maskman. Though I scrapped that because that would have been too much work for what probably would have been a 20-second long cutscene. Instead, I added a cutscene which is now in the final version of the map where a stranger gets pulled up on a chain and you are tied up on your chair, unable to do anything. Now, something else you might have spotted while searching around the map is this head here. I think it's pretty clear that that was supposed to be the Maskman without his mask. Dead. I originally had the idea that the Maskman fell into the lava but came back still alive, but just without the mask because it burned off. I scrapped that idea because, like I mentioned earlier, this map was just supposed to be a test and nothing too big. If I would have added that, the map would have had to be at least 15 to 20 minutes longer, and for me, that would have been too long. Remember the section where you gotta find the passcode while the Maskman is roaming around? Yeah, that section wasn't originally planned. I added it in later because I realized that the map needed another section or it would have completely sucked. And I'm so glad I did because that section is my favorite one. It's also the only scary one in my opinion. Like I mentioned earlier, I didn't really get the spookiness right. The jump scares just weren't crazy. But in that section, ho ho, if you run into him while he's just around the corner, oh man, you get scared. Though it kinda seems like I'm the only one who enjoyed this section so much. Every YouTuber I watched play just didn't know what to do and some got really frustrated. I think I should have clarified it a bit more on how to find out what the code was. Sorry about that everyone, mistake on my side. About the technique I used to make the Maskman roam around. Well, first of all, I animated his walking animation because I wouldn't want him to just float around like a ghost. But the way I let him move around was with colored concrete blocks. Basically, every time he's over blue concrete blocks, he gets teleported to the direction he looks. When he's under a yellow, orange, purple or red concrete block, he changes the direction in which he looks, and with that he also automatically walks that way. Pretty simple when you think about it. For the jump scare, I just put a command block on repeat that checks if the player is in a distance of 2 blocks to him. If he is, he just gets teleported into a separate room and the jump scare plays. Now to the keys. Like I already said, I watched a lot of YouTube videos of people playing the Masked Man, and some found it a bit weird that the keys, which are candles, looked like, well, candles. And I get that. I actually searched for a texture pack that changes one specific item into a key, but I didn't find one. I mean, maybe I just didn't search long or hard enough, who knows. Last thing I want to talk about is the guy that gets zapped in the fun room. That guy is voiced by Lucas. He also voiced characters in my other maps. So basically he came over to my place for recording and I told him to violently shake his arms and scream while doing so he would really sound like he gets brutally zapped. You can imagine how his face looked after I told him that. But he did it, and I loved the result. We shared a good laugh after that. And that's a wrap on this developer commentary video. I hope you liked this part, and if you did, smash that like button and please leave a comment. That's all folks. See ya!